She-Hulk is the latest controversial MCU property on Disney Plus. The criticisms are heavily centered around the feminist viewpoint of the show and a general distaste for how the character is presented. I am sympathetic to people's aversion to bad writing or bad characterization, even if the writing is based on a cause I agree with, like empowering women and feminism in general. She-Hulk is by no means perfect, but I do find much of the criticism to be misplaced or unfair. By far, the most complained about scene is during her training with Bruce. He is trying to teach her about anger management, as anger is what makes one transform into a Hulk. She seems to handle transitioning in and out of her Hulk form with ease and explains to Bruce,
"Because I do it infinitely more than you."
This has been attacked more times than I can count by internet reviewers. The points made about this particular line are that Bruce himself has suffered many hardships, and that her saying this is dismissive of his character. I believe she is being a bit dismissive. She is not a perfect character, yet the people complaining are confusing her point with another. She is not saying he has not had a hard life. She is simply saying she has to regulate her anger on a daily basis more often than he does. And if we accept her reasons for checking her anger, it's true. His character throughout the MCU films has not had to regulate his anger as often as she is claiming she has to do hers. And the points she made, whether others care about them or not, are real. They do happen to women very often. Being treated as emotionally imbalanced, treated like you don't know what you're talking about or doing at work, catcalls on the street, etc. These are all real things women deal with. They may seem played out in recent media to many, but they are prevalent in our society, and it's only in the last few years being recognized in entertainment. It has also been mentioned many times by comic book fans on YouTube that Bruce was abused as a child. This is irrelevant to the show and has only been seen in the comic books. It is not part of the character in the films, and if it is ever added later, it could be assumed Jen has no idea it ever happened. Although they like to mention the trauma that Bruce experienced in the comic books, they never mention the trauma that Jennifer Walters experienced in the comics. When Jen was 17, her mother was killed by a drunk driver in a car crash. The drunk driver got off with probation. This was so profound in her life that it made her change her goal of being a dancer to working in law enforcement and becoming a lawyer. I'd like to mention that men do deal with condescension from women and other men. It mostly occurs in relationship dynamics rather than at work, but it does happen. But the way men are perceived pushing back against it is generally more positive and looked at as strong. Strength can be displayed in a person without physical strength, and She-Hulk's character has struggled to convince certain men of her real strength. Some of that is her lack of confidence, and some is sexism from certain men. Another complaint has been she is not relatable, as it is perceived she is just a one-dimensional feminist point of a character. I found her to be very relatable and feel anyone who has ever lacked confidence, felt rejected professionally and romantically, can identify with her as well. She is rejected multiple times, and she is quite hurt by it, as most of us have experienced and can empathize with. Her romantic life is attacked also as an anti-feminist aspect of the show and her character. It has been mentioned that the male superheroes do not worry about their love life because they're too busy being heroes. This is not true. Remember, Jennifer Walters does not want to be a superhero. She insists on having a normal life as a lawyer. The She-Hulk form is something she does not want to embrace because she wants to succeed as herself. This is another relatable aspect of her character for many people. She is living in the real world, according to the MCU, and is focused on all the same things men and women are focused on who are not superheroes. The love life of male superheroes has been a main point in nearly every single MCU movie. Tony with Pepper, Captain with Peggy, Hawkeye was hiding a family that means more to him than all the superhero business. Bruce was in love with Black Widow until Thanos apparently snapped their love away also. Wanda and Vision was a huge love story, and that character was also obsessed with being a mother, and everyone loves Wanda. Their love lives have been a major part of their character and development. But they have chosen a superhero life, so it takes a side seat or even a back seat in most cases. Jen has made it clear she does not want to do that. She-Hulk has only her career and social life as important factors, which is to be expected from a normal life. Everything she is doing makes sense for her character. How quickly other characters in the MCU adapted to and embraced their superhero-ness is actually more unrealistic. How Jen is handling it is more to be expected from a human. I do believe some dialogue and plot elements could be better written, but overall, her character is fun, and her arc is something a normal person could expect who is suddenly forced into the powers of a Hulk or superhero in general. Thank you for watching, and if you made it this far, please subscribe to the channel.